Happy Friday, Los Angeles, and welcome to One More Sleep, the preview of LAFC's upcoming match on the road against FC Cincinnati, or as I like to call them, FC Skyline Chili, which if you're in Cincinnati, I do say you have to try the Skyline Chili. Cincinnati Scarf, a trip we haven't taken since April 24th in the year 2022. Now, while I like to poke fun at other clubs and give them nicknames, make no mistake of it, this is a damn good team with some damn good players and some damn good coaching. Dare I say, one of the toughest away games on our entire schedule. Very odd for yours truly to root against a team that's in blue and orange, but this is no New York team. And who am I, you ask? Well, my name is Christian Filament, otherwise known as Philly, the atomic fireball flamingo, and here to break down what we hope to be a beatdown in the nasty natty, and we ain't talking beers here, the mouth of the South Bay, J.R. Liebert.
The Scarf, what is good, everybody? And yes, welcome to your favorite pre-match content from Defenders of the Bank. Bam, what is good? Genuine Cougar, everybody else in the chat, thank you for joining us at 11 o'clock on a Friday night. We, of course, wanted to wait for our good friends at Heart of LAFC to finish their podcast. And so we hope a lot of you are joining us. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on here. It's Ruben, the reason why it'll get shaved soon is because there's more and more gray creeping in here as I continue to grow it out. So I don't know if I want to grow it out too much longer. But yeah, Philly, this is not a matchup on the schedule that we wanted to see in our current run of MLS regular season matches for sure. But at least we will be coming off the momentum of winning the U.S. Open Cup.
I still got my bracelet on from Founders Club. The little lighty bracelet finally died. I actually let the thing go on. I put it in the man cave just so I could see the lights go on. I had it put in seizure mode where it went from blue to red to this to that just to see how long it would creep. It finally died. And I think the hangover of that night, the literal hangover of that night, finally went away. We recorded a really late night pod, something we haven't done in a long time. And yesterday it was brutal. Brutal all day at work. Went to go call a game in Riverside. It was just a long day. Really, really long day. But finally, we've arrived to the weekend. Amen.
Yeah, Philly, the other nice part is that our boys travel, and we can expect to see, most likely, some players who maybe don't get a ton of run for LAFC. Something that we saw with our own eyes, Philly, in the match, of course, was Aaron Long coming off with what seemed to be, we'll just say, a lower body extremity injury from last year. We saw Eddie Segura come off, and he's taken a few knocks, and he is I don't know that he's 100%, and even if he is, I don't know that he starts. We got a few players, Philly, that'll be attending to a few bumps and bruises, I believe, right? No Jesus Murillo still. So there's that. So I think, Philly, we might have caught ourselves a Marlin.
Yeah, and not the kind that you would find deep sea fishing off the coast of Miami. That's for sure. Marlin will be playing for a couple of reasons that we think. Number one, Steve said it in the presser, and they interviewed Marlin. He was interviewed as well. So you're not going to be interviewed unless you're going to play. More than likely start. So we might get to see the Brazilian in action because we're a little skimpy as far as our backline is concerned.
Yeah, Philly, my favorite quote, I believe it was Steve Cherundolo that said he'll have to get match ready during the games because it's such a short season and the nature of his contract, match fit. It's always fun when we hear our coach in our 30th match of the season go, yeah, we'll play this guy just so he can get match fit, not because he is match fit.
For sure.
Yeah, look, it's going to be fun. These are
sorry.
We're just okay. We're two teams that, despite the fact that they have 56 points and we only have 49, relatively similar in terms of output so far this season. 52 goals for them, 52 goals for us, 39 goals allowed for them, 40 goals allowed for us. But you mentioned it. They've got some special players on their side too, including, of course, the elephant in the room, if you will, even though he's only like 5'4". That's a rather pint-sized elephant, but the reigning MLS MVP himself, Lucho Acosta.
Absolutely. And they have a great run of form. They haven't lost a game since August 24th, where they lost to Miami in Fort Lauderdale. So they've been off on a hot streak. And really, since they bring in Pat Noonan, and oh my God, what's Chris's last name from the Philadelphia Union that came in with Noonan? It doesn't matter. It'll come to me at some point. But ever since they came on to FC Cincinnati, they've completely turned the team around. They've made them, it's been a tough place, a tough environment to play. They brought in some really good players. Heck, they sold some really good players. And Noonan, along with Steve, are both eyeing their 50th win, a regular season win in Major League Soccer in 3 seasons. So a lot of cool things to play for. FC Cincinnati's already clinched a spot in the postseason. And by the looks of things, I really doubt they're going to catch Miami. But at the same time, they're not going to want to fall to interstate rivals, Columbus Crew. As the rivalry goes, it's called Hell is Real. They are very close in a lot of ways. And the last thing they'd want to do is have these guys leapfrog them. And at the same time, FC Cincinnati has never beaten us. We've only played them twice. I mentioned earlier that we were there the last time, August 24th, where we beat them 2-1. And then when they came to BMO Stadium, I can't even believe it's been that long. Back in April 13th of 2019, we beat them 2-0. I have to ask myself, how in the hell has FC Cincinnati been around that long? It feels like just yesterday they came into the league, but they've got a lot to play for. And well, we've got a lot of question marks because, well, while we're riding on a high, we still had a really tough time beating a 12th place team.
Yeah, let's be real. This is our 7th match in 22 days. And everybody was talking, Sasha Kleshchin in particular, about how LAFC looked tired in that last match. Not the U.S. Open Cup, but in our last MLS regular season match. We have looked tired. We have looked worn down. We have looked a little beat up and injured, and there's no rest for the weary. FC Cincinnati and then back home to St. Louis, 2 very, very good teams this season. And look, nobody is going to give us any extra sympathy. We have plenty of talent on our side of the pitch. We need to figure out a way to both get some points and get some rest. The biggest thing, Philly, is 1 point. 1 point clinches us a playoff spot. Not that we're all that worried about a playoff spot down the stretch, but 1 point on the road is often hard to get, certainly against FC Cincinnati. And the bottom line is this: we just can't let them score first. They are 15-1-0 on the season when scoring first. We cannot let FC Cincinnati score first, because I don't know that we can play catch up to a Lucho Acosta and Luca Orishano-led team.
You've already blown out my keys to the game, so we might as well just end that segment of the pod for me.
Oh, no.
But you're right, though. Yes, no, the story goes that we can qualify with a win over the Natties, or if FC Dallas loses or ties Orlando City, that's another way of us being able to clinch a playoff spot. But again, like you said, it's not anything that we're entirely worried about. It's more a concern as to where we finish in the table. And as it stands right now, we got our work cut out for us if we want to attempt to try and win the West. Still think there's an opportunity there. Maybe we could get lucky, pull some we can get some breaks, but obviously we need to win games. And that's been relatively rough for us in the regular season in Major League Soccer the last 5 games, because even though we beat Sporting Kansas City, that technically doesn't count as a regular season win, and we've gone winless in the last 5.
Yeah, winless in the last 5, while they've gone undefeated in their last 4, right? 2-0-2 wins against Montreal and Minnesota, a 0-0 draw against Columbus, holding Columbus off the score sheet hard enough, and a 2-2 draw against Nashville, another normally very good defensive team. So 2 teams going in the opposite direction at this point of the season, and we're hoping to circle the wagons and right the ship in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Scarf, we're about what? How many minutes into this pod? About
almost 10.
And I remember I asked you something in our little pre-thing, and you have yet to.
Sorry. Hey, Philly, what are you wearing?
What am I wearing? That's not what I asked you to ask me.
I thought it was about.
And by the way, that's kind of a personal question. Thank you very much.
I thought it was about your hat.
It has nothing to do with the hat. Why do you think I refer to myself as Fireball Philly?
Oh yeah. What are you drinking?
I mean, that's a pretty decent thing. You know, the carrot top of the LAFC pod fams likes to have his props. So yes, cheers to you. I do have a fireball shot, but that's not it. Give me 1 second to down this.
Oh, that's not it, but he's having a fireball shot.
As you know, this Sunday at Toyota Arena is the USA-Mexico indoor soccer game featuring Breck Shea on the U.S. side. Yes, that Breck Shea. And Marco Fabian on the other side, as well as a plethora of amazing talent from the Major Arena Soccer League. In addition to the guys' game, there's going to be a girls' name, too, featuring the likes of Lauren Sesselman and some very talented other players like Alexis Cat. Amazing talent. But if you look at the two flags of both countries, they have one color in common. Red. Red. I harnessed my inner Rufio for this. I've gone red. Atomic Fireball red for the broadcast to match this beautiful red tux that I have. That is why I'm referring to myself as Fireball Philly.
So wait, when I asked you about your hat, you couldn't have segued that into, nothing.
No, because I had to have the fireball and tell the story first.
Okay.
Don't ask about a method to my madness. You wanted to find out what I was wearing. That wasn't even the scope of the conversation.
There's a madness to your method rather than a method to your madness, my friend. And that's why we love you so much.
Rufio. I always wanted to do it red.
You guys heard it here. Hashtag Roofie Philly. There you go.
That's, again, not what I meant. And you don't need to know what I'm wearing. All right, so maybe we could get into some slides. Let's roll.
Let's roll. They've already seen my players to watch, and this one's going to be fun. Look, if you guys haven't seen
how many push can I do? What, you mean like push-ups? In how long a period of time? Like, I do lift and shit, so whoops. Family friendly there. Well, you did say we're a podcast that your mother needs to warn you about. So red hair, red suit, red socks.
Will you hit the slide, please?
Yeah. All right. Sorry. The ADD's kicking in. Yeah. Here we go.
This is what happens when we give Philly fireball. Look, here's the bottom line. If you haven't watched Luca Orishano play so far this season, you are missing one of the truly gifted strikers in the league. I believe he has 2 different goals of the week and maybe even 1 or 2 match day players of the week. This kid is fantastic. 9 goals and 7 assists on the season, but those 9 goals are golazos. He is so much fun to watch. The Argentinian, he was an MLS All-Star this year. He's just caught the eye of a ton of people. I do not think Luca Orishano will be in FC Cincinnati next season. Look, so much to talk about with Lucho Acosta, and I have a feeling Philly will. But Luca Orishano is the player that is going to go over to Europe and do some things. He's, I believe, 24, so he's not super young, but so talented and a player that FC Cincinnati, look, the cool thing about being a Cincinnati athlete, whether you're on the Reds, whether you're on the Bengals, they absolutely support the heck out of their clubs. And FC Cincinnati is an incredible environment to go see players play. And they have rallied around Luca Orishano, and he is absolutely incredible. My player to watch for LAFC is simple. I want to see what he's got because I don't know much about him at all. We have talked about Marlon and all of the great clubs that he has played for, from Shakhtar Donetsk to, 3 or 4 other clubs in Brazil and Champions League clubs and players. He's played all over, and he's got a ton of experience. He's also a little older, but not old. He has not shown anything, obviously, for LAFC yet. He also failed a physical before this, but Steve said he's totally fine. I have no idea what to expect from Marlon other than he's probably going to start. He's probably going to get a lot of run. And if my boy Jesus Murillo can't get healthy, he's probably going to take those minutes at some point because of what we've seen from Eddie Segura. So I'm going Marlon watching.
I like it. No, that's a very smart pick. An absolutely smart pick, because I'm very curious too. And as you alluded to, there's going to be somebody I'm going to reference that obviously is the elephant in the room. But in the chat on the Instagram side, totally right. Code._3 says, shout out your barber. And I absolutely will. Isis Black and Gold has been voted the best barbershop in Burbank 2 years in a row. Every haircut I have had in the last 3 years, I think at this point, has been from Isis Black and Gold. If you are a fan of this club and you live very close to the area, look her up. Her entire shop is dedicated to LAFC. A lot of cool trinkets, autographs, all kinds of stuff. But more importantly, she does a great job cutting the hair. So I had to throw it out there. Nothing but love to Isis. So as far as my players to watch, Scarf, yeah. That's pretty simple. Let me pull up my notes real quick. So there's a player on FC Cincinnati who goes by the name of Luciano Federico Acosta. Now, I know he's not Italian. He's from Argentina. He's from Argentina. But it's safe to say that he's had a pretty decent career in the league. If you don't believe me, well, listen to this. 2023 MLS MVP. 2022 top assist provider. 2018, 22, 23 MLS Best 11, 22, 23, 24 MLS All-Star, and hell, he even had the MLS Goal of the Year in 2023. If you're in the chat, Genuine Cougar put up some stats and some facts, and he's absolutely right. Acosta is 1 goal or assist shy of tying his 2023 club record of 31 single-season goal contributions. The kid is on fire. He has 12 goals on the season, 18 assists. He is absolutely rocking it. A player to watch out for, an unbelievable talent, and truly the heavyweight that reigns supreme down in FC Cincinnati. As far as LAFC is concerned, it could be a battle of the heavyweights. It could be Lucho versus Denny, but I'm looking at Kike Oliveira, how he impacted the game for LAFC this past Wednesday was beyond obvious. If you didn't see it, then you clearly were either too inebriated or just didn't watch the game. The minute Kike hit the pitch, the entire attack and the dynamic changed. We become a very fast and lethal team in transition. And I got to give a shout out to my good friend Sean Murphy, who is in London right now, getting ready to enjoy his hospitality package at Stamford Bridge as he's about to attend Chelsea versus Brighton. But we were talking about how LAFC is a team very good in transition. You had the likes of Vale and more particularly Giroud, and that kind of slows things down. Meanwhile, Murphy goes, Giroud is like a beautiful lion running with a pack of cheetahs. And I couldn't agree with that more. Probably one of the most brilliant observations ever. And it's true. As beautiful as the lion is, he's not going to be running very efficiently with the cheetahs. But Kike Oliveira is a cheetah. And between him, Denis, and Matty, that's your attack. If you want to put a team away early and you want to prevent them from scoring the first goal, which I'm going to get into in a minute, that's the lineup you need. And Christian Oliveira certainly is a big part of that.
Philly, since Lucho Acosta has come to FC Cincinnati, it's like when Barry Bonds went to the Giants. I don't know if he's on steroids or what, but he is putting up video game numbers. To give you an idea, he's played just about as many matches with DC United, the team he came from for FC Cincinnati. Played 137 matches for DC United, 144 for FC Cincinnati. That's about the same, right? You got, what, 7
But he has way more goals wearing blue and orange than he ever did wearing red, white, and black.
How about 54 goal contributions in 137 matches with DC United? 103 in the same amount of matches or so with FC Cincinnati. Lucho Acosta is a bums in seats kind of guy. If I could quote one of our favorite shows, Shorzy, he is a guy that puts bums in seats. He is a midfield maestro. It's not normally Philly picks the low-hanging fruit, and that's perfectly fine. But this isn't just low-hanging fruit. This is probably, other than Lionel Messi, maybe the showcase player in our league right now. Evander's really good too. We'll see. But maybe the showcase player in our league over the last 3 or 4 seasons. And a guy who, at 30 years old, you just kind of wonder, is Lucho going to get that shot, one more shot overseas or somewhere better to see if he can still hang with the big boys? Love me some Kike Oliveira.
Yeah, well, look, either way, a legend and a rock star in this league. And to be a legend or a rock star in any league is still pretty damn good. If you're getting paid handsomely and you're getting to enjoy life and you're loved in whatever city you're in, who cares? I would be happy being a star in the Romanian First Division if it meant that I didn't have to pay for a drink or a meal ever again in a city like Bucharest.
Yeah, you could get all the fireball you wanted.
Well, over there's a thing called palinka, and you want to talk about fire. That stuff is fire, man. That would probably power a Fiat, no question.
All right, let's get into the keys to the match, and I've got two simple ones. Just get that point, get us into the playoffs, give us something else to celebrate in a end of the regular season that has been difficult at best. I think that if we get this point, we don't back into the playoffs, right? If you earn a point on the road, it's called earning a point for a reason. And I think that would be really big for our club's psyche right now. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think Philly's smart for not choosing Denis Bouanga, because I would be perfectly fine if Denis Bouanga sat this one out. Get those legs back under him. Get him healthy. Get him rested. I have not said this very often, but he looks tired right now. It looks like the stress and strain of the last 2 years, plus the international travel, everything that Denis Bouanga has done for this club to keep us where we have been, I think it's finally starting to catch up to him. So I would be perfectly fine if we don't see Denis Bouanga in this match to try to get him healthy. I think we need to get that point. And more importantly, unlike in the match against Sporting Kansas City, we need to get everybody off the pitch after 90 minutes healthy and ready to roll for the rest of the regular season. If we can get out of FC Cincinnati with everybody healthy and a point, I think that is as big of a result as we will have had all season.
Easier said than done, Scarf, as Denis is a baller and a competitor who would rather fight you than be taken off of the pitch. More importantly, he's also in the middle of a golden boot run, which he still has a very good shot at winning. More importantly, we're still trying to finish up higher on the table. And I'm going to get into what you were just saying with my little key to the game, because you already alluded to it. We need to avoid conceding the first goal of the game, because as you said, FC Cincinnati are 15-1-0 on the season when scoring the first goal. If you're mathing, that's spot 938. That's a lot. They have the most wins in MLS in that fashion. Some of the best winning percentage this year when striking first. But believe it or not, they're not as good of a team at home as they are on the road. Home 7-5-3, away 10-3-2. But it's going to be a raucous, electric affair there, because LAFC does not go to Cincinnati very often. And they'll have that chip on their shoulder, wanting to pull one over against what is one of the, if not the most successful expansion club in Major League Soccer, maybe even in Major League Soccer history. I don't want to say that, but certainly among the elites. So if we want to avoid being conceded upon first, that means we should be scoring first. And you need Denis Bouanga in there to do that. You need that fast, dynamic attack to silence the crowd and to at least implement a shred of doubt to FC Cincinnati that they really are going up against the big boys. Sure, Miami may be the team to beat in the East, but we might still be the team to beat, not only in the West, but in MLS, especially if we're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, look, I hear you. My issue is he's looked tired. He's looked gassed. Every time it seemed like he took on an extra defender or two, he got dispossessed. He didn't quite have that same burst over 90 minutes. He had the burst a couple of times throughout the latter stages of the match, which is still incredible because the guy did amazing things while taking on defenders. He was the highest rated player, according to FOTMob in that match, the player of the match. But imagine if he can just take a minute to get his legs under him. I don't know. We'll see. I hope you're right, but we'll see.
All right. And on to the next slide.
Yeah, let's roll. I'm going with a draw, folks. I firmly believe that LAFC, while they start every match absolutely wanting all 3 points, and I think it'd be a big statement to go on the road against the second place team in the Eastern Conference, a team that a lot of people think could give Inter Miami and Columbus Crew some absolute hell in coming out of the East. And if they do, for us to travel to TQL Stadium out there, for us to travel all the way out there with all of their fans, that would be a big deal for FC Cincinnati to be able to host, whether it's the Eastern Conference Final or even MLS Cup. They are a club where, they really could decide the direction of the Eastern Conference playoffs up until the final. And I think if we get out of there with a 2-2 draw, I think that would be best case scenario. Who knows who we're going to have on the back line? Who knows how many of our regulars are going to see more than maybe 45, 55, 60 minutes? Kind of what we saw in our match before Open Cup. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised to see some serious roster rotation. And I really do believe LAFC would be extremely satisfied coming out of this, scoring a few goals, and getting a point.
100%. To me, a point is really a win. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. But I don't think that we're going to have a stalemate. I think it's going to be 2-1. 2-1 with a question mark.
Oh, God, get off the fence.
Nope. This is a tough one, Scarf. LAFC's had a gauntlet of games, far more than FC Cincinnati. They've had a week off. And yes, while we're riding a high of winning a trophy with the desire to compete and win another, we have to see what kind of team that we're throwing out on there on the pitch. These hiccups are getting pretty bad. Home field, though, doesn't seem to have much of an advantage for FC Cincinnati. And LAFC has actually been pretty good on the road, at least until recently. So I'm undecided. I don't think it's going to be a stalemate. I'm simply going to say this. Stupid hiccups. Don't drink Mineragua right as you're potting. Whoever scores the first goal wins the game. Therein lies my thought. I don't know. I can't say who, because these teams are so evenly matched, even from their goals for, their goals against, the goal differential, the head coaching records. There's just so many similarities to both sides. So to me, whoever scores the first goal is going to win, and that team is going to win by a score of 2-1. I'm going to hit mute while I hiccup a bunch.
All right, so Philly says 2-1 on both sides of the fence. I don't know what's worse. Him picking an entire roster of players to watch, or him picking 2-1 on both sides. You can just put us on the screen now if you want, if you're not hiccuping still anymore. There's us. All right. Yeah, look, this is going to be an interesting one. The Dolo out people can sit this one out, okay? Because it's going to be about attrition and preservation in this match, traveling to Cincinnati after playing a hard-fought 120 minutes at home. Y'all can sit this one out, Dolo out people. You can come back later if we go on a losing streak to end the rest of the season. But sit this one out. It's okay. You don't have to be loud and vocal all the time. That doesn't make you right or wrong. It's okay. Sit this one out. But I think the expectation that Philly and I both have is a win would be incredible and would do tons of stuff for our confidence. A point would, in my opinion, be just the same. And we would love to be able to celebrate getting into the playoffs by earning it rather than backing in potentially with an FC Dallas tie or loss in their match. So I've got 2-2. Philly's got 2-1 for somebody. We just don't know who it is.
I'm sticking to my guns. 2 evenly matched. We'll see. And I still have hiccups. Just a couple of housekeeping items that we need to promote. Pups off the pitch. On Sunday, September 29th from 1 to 3, these damn hiccups. Join LAFC and Zippy Paws for a dog adoption at Golden Road Brewery. If I had myself a couple of pints of beer, I'd probably come home with a dog or two. So that'll be this Sunday, once again, September 29th from 1 to 3, 5410 West San Fernando Road, Los Angeles, California. Excuse me. Ooh, I didn't hit mute. Shoot. Sorry about that. Watch parties. The official LAFC ones going to be at Lopez and Lefties in Anaheim. That's one. There's going to be another one at 917 The Lane, 1282 Washington Boulevard, Suite 103 in Los Angeles. And then there's plenty of other ones going on that within the 3252 supporters groups. I'm just going to quickly go through those just so you all know. The crew are having a watch party at Angry Horse Brewing. Looks like Tigers are going to be at Beer Garden. That's always a fun time. That's actually where I met and reunited with ISIS when I had the idea of dyeing my hair pink. So that's always a good spot. Pride Republic at High Tops in Los Feliz. Damn hiccups. Rowdies for the with the Luckies and the Empire Boys. The Expos are going to be at Trademark Brewing. Cuervos at Best Ball in Lake Balboa. District 9 at Doghouse Beer Garden in North Burbank, right by the airport. So that's going to be going on there. So those are the LAFC watch parties I know of. And Black Army. They'll be at Uncle Frank's Backyard Pizza. Oh, no, that's where the food's coming from. I'm sorry. Mount Low Brewing Company, 150 St. Joseph Street, Arcadia. I'm going to stop right now because I can't stop freaking hiccuping. Scarf, take the mic.
This is fantastic. I just like to watch Philly go through all of that. That was fun for all of us.
Beer Garden, that's the closest.
Okay. Look, 2-1 for Philly for someone, 2-2 for me. Make sure you guys let us know what you think in the chat. Make sure you make fun of Philly's hiccups and the fact that he's
I've been
now
eating on Topo Chico with Mineragua because this thing's like $1.39 and I'm paying for it because I got the freaking hiccups.
I love Mineragua more than anything. Again, as Ruben says, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Head on over to defendersofthebank.com. Check out our shop where new designs will be coming soon. Dexter and I are going to get in Dexter's laboratory and see what we can cook up. Cannot wait. It's going to be lots of fun. And again, make fun of Philly for the hiccups, y'all. Philly, we have cool outro music, or you have more?
No, not yet. You mentioned the Defenders of the Bank Shop.
You said you're done, but go on.
No, I promise I'm done here. The Defenders of the Bank Shop. Look, if you DM us on this current line of merch, DM Defenders, not Scarf, because he won't answer. I'll give you a 50% off coupon for your entire purchase. 50% off. It doesn't get any sweeter than that. High quality 500 level gear, 50% off. You could put $200 worth of merch in your cart and it only costs you $100. DM us. And also, by the way, if you're interested in going to that USA-Mexico game on Sunday, DM me personally on Instagram and I'll actually give you a link for free tickets just because I want to see all the. And Scarf already has the Open Cup champs. That's pretty good. How did you get that?
I got it today at the Angel City match.
No wonder you wanted to go to the Angel City match.
Yes, nefarious reasons for sure. This is not available on the website on MLSsoccer.com. You got to go in the store to get this one, y'all. So make sure you hit up LAFC HQ. Get this one.
It's a nice one. Is that the cue? I'll take that as a yes. Good night.